You too. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome, racers, once again to another live talk on this special edition of what is Neurolanguage Coaching, learning languages through coaching and neuroscience. My name is Juan Carlos Campos, your host. And joining me today, we have a wonderful expert on the language learning process, Nina Svorak. And to be honest, to talk about Nina's talents might require a whole new edition, but I'll try to be as succinct, as brief as possible. Nina is a professional neuro language coach and also an official language coaching licensed trainer. So she's a neuro language coaching trainer. She's a polyglot. She speaks five, six languages, Nina. Let me see if I can calculate them well. Nina speaks, of course, her native language, Ukrainian, Slovak, English, of course, Italian, French, and Spanish. Yes, is that right? More or less, a
Yep.
little bit. She's a dancer, and as far as I've seen, a wonderful one at that. Okay, and um, and she's a well-traveled person as well, and especially we're gonna talk about that in just a moment. And she's kind enough to do this once again because a few months ago we also interviewed Nina along with Jacob as well. So without further ado, Nina, thank you so much. Welcome to Race.
Hello, Juan Carlos, and hello, everyone. A lot of thanks to you for inviting me, and I
Oh,
hope we'll have a wonderful time today talking about some new aspects about neurolanguage coaching and transforming educators into neurolanguage coaches.
yes, thank you so much. Absolutely. So Nina is going to be sharing her expertise, her insights about neuro language coaching, as we mentioned, and we're going to be here as usual, just 30 minutes. So we better get started then. Um,
Sure.
Nina, I know that you recently traveled and I know that you love traveling. So this might be a very obvious question, but just to break the ice a little bit, what is it about traveling that you enjoy the most?
Oh yeah, I'm kind of a globetrotter, but well, I believe that traveling changes us.
Oh,
And being a neurolanguage coach already, knowing a lot of things about the brain, I know that everything that we listen to, that we talk about, everything that we see, everything that we experience changes our brain. So every point on the map, every city, every museum that I have seen influenced me somehow. And that's the reason why I love traveling, changing my
interesting.
brain, observing it, talking to it.
Okay. Would you say that it's a way for you to keep your brain plastic then? Mhm. Mhm.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because being stable all the time makes me tired and makes me bored. Well,
Oh,
so travel is one of the lazy ways how to make it work. I mean, the brain, how to make it work.
okay. Wonderful.
Expensive ways, but yes, expensive way, or more or
Yeah.
less, it depends, right? But anyway, it's one of the ways when you can enjoy your time, get some pleasure, and of course, educate yourself in a way, depending on the way of the travel.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you for that. Yeah, I totally agree. Especially now that we know how plastic the brain is, and sometimes, as you mentioned, we need to experience new things, be exposed to new knowledge, information, so that we can keep the brain plastic. And I think I also believe that traveling is a good way to do that for sure. Um, Nina, let us talk about neuro language coaching a little bit, if you don't mind.
Okay.
I know that you became a neuro language coach back in 2018. Is that right? Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
That was my first certification six
All
years
right.
ago.
Wow. Wow. Time flies. Yeah. I also took the same course around those
I
years.
remember.
Hmm. And how has your approach to learning and why not teaching has changed ever since you became a neuro language coach?
Well, it's a good word, changed.
Mm,
Um, We also can mention that it improved. It's improved, and it took me a couple of years to understand what exactly has changed, what exactly has improved. But the main point that I'm observing now is, and of course, based on their clients' feedback, how they feel about the sessions with me, active listening.
Ooh.
Active listening, listening to our client and to the client's brain. One of my one of my clients recently said, well, during our sessions, I know that you are very careful about my brain, and you understand that you are not teaching me, you are teaching my brain, you are talking to my brain. So that really fascinated me and made me think about the way we as educators have to approach our clients, have to approach our learners. So one of the things that has changed is listening to the client and talking to their brains.
Ooh.
Well, and the second thing is also calmness.
Hmm.
Well, calming the brain down. All those triggers or emotional states that our clients, our students have, they have to be calmed down. And it takes some time, it takes us, the educators, some time to learn how to do that in the right way, how
Yeah.
to manage the conversation, how to manage this coaching conversation with the client to make them feel calm. It's not 1 month, it's not 2 months time. With some clients it takes longer, right?
Mm.
And our expertise is also the long process. So these
Very.
are two main things that I see as the improvement.
Yeah, wonderful. So learning how to talk to your clients' brains and identify those limbic triggers that
Absolutely.
everybody has. No, not exactly the same, but everybody has certain.
Everybody, yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, wonderful. And when I became a neuro language coach, I also identified my own limbic triggers, and the more conscious you become of something, you start to identify those patterns in people that most people communicate in a way that might trigger those limbic responses in people, and we don't know, and we don't know, and they don't know. So yeah, for sure, I totally agree with you. It's important to know.
And maybe the first step is to calm down yourself, right? Some clients bring triggers to the session, and they are mirroring us, we are mirroring them. So first of all, we have to learn how to calm down your thoughts, emotions, and so on and so forth, and then transmit it to the client.
Ah, yes, totally.
That's also the skill.
Yes, and I always like to say energy is contagious. Mirror neurons, you tend to imitate the other person in front of you. Um, and yeah, so I think that's a great tip to learn how to calm ourselves down first so that they also feel calm and relaxed. Yes, wonderful. Okay. Yeah. Now, you used one of these questions when you interviewed Rachel Palin, our fellow
Mm.
friend, and you asked her. I remember in my research, you asked her about what makes neuro language coaching unique. And if it's okay with you, I would like to ask you the same question. In your opinion, Nina, what makes neuro language coaching unique?
For me, well, there could be different points of view, of course, and different approaches. But for me, neurolanguage coaching is about, again, I would repeat myself, that talking to the brain,
Hmm.
negotiating with the brain, right? Because what it should be a double-side process and progress. Well,
Hmm.
it should be a communication between what the client needs, what he or she wants, desires, and how he or she imagines the process of learning. And all of that is taken into consideration before we start working, before we
Hmm.
start learning. That's a great difference between teaching and your language coaching.
I see.
Teaching encompasses the structure, already made materials, already made plans, just dear client, open your mouth and chew, right? So, but your language coaching prefers the client to be open and to share everything that he wants to see during the learning process. So for me, this is about the very individual and specific needs of a client.
Hmm.
For me,
Yeah. So it's a tailor-made um, method there.
absolutely. Yes,
Okay.
and with a knowledge about the brain.
Ooh. So two important, let's see, tools under our belts. You know, the
Yeah,
knowledge about the
and
brain, and yeah, go ahead.
I also have, I always have I would say my friend with me when I coach when I coach my clients in order to explain to them how it works,
Ooh.
why they react in this or that way, why they feel this way, and what happens at this or that moment when they are emotional or when they are calm or when they want to talk about their stress. So I guess this is one of the tools for a doctor and
Oh
also
yeah,
for a new language coach to assist.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Does it have a name or any special
I'm
names?
thinking about it. Can you help me?
Yeah, yeah, we'll come up with something. Yeah, all right. But it's great. It's great. Yeah, it's
Ah, I have
yeah.
another one. Do you know
Oh,
what's that?
it's neuron.
It's a
Yeah,
neuron.
neuron.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's great.
Right.
Yes.
So this one is a very nice tool for my teachers when I deliver the course for teachers,
Yeah.
transformative course for language educators. So when I have to explain to them what's happening in our brain,
Oh
this
yeah.
one for sure it has to have a name.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I need to get me one of those because I use my arm to to tell them, oh,
Uh-huh.
imagine that is like a neuron, and this is the dendrites and stuff. But yeah, yeah, I think it's way better to use a tool or rely there as well. Nina, if you don't mind sharing, but who was your first official coachee? Mhm.
Official. Wow. Mm. You mean the one who got the offer?
No, no, no. I mean, you had a younger coachee, and you started to use some of those coaching questions with him. Yeah,
Ah, okay. I know what I mean.
is it
So
okay if we
yeah,
talk
yeah.
about it? Yeah.
I remember I shared it many years ago with you. Yeah.
Mm.
So this one, this that was my son actually.
Oh,
I
yeah.
I was very suspicious about
Mm.
introducing coaching and using coaching with children.
Yep.
So I was asking Rachel, well, is it possible to talk in a coaching manner with a kid? And we discussed it a lot. Well, and I tried. Actually, it worked. So yeah, my son was in 2018. He was 2 years old, almost three. So he started negotiating with me about his toys, about the games, about what he prefers doing, and so on and so forth. So he was my first client, I would say, and I
Okay.
was trying this coaching instruments with a kid, right? Although we all know that the kids' approach or kids' style of learning is absolutely different because of the difference of the brain. This prefrontal cortex, which is over here, is not developed. So they
Mhm.
perceive the world in a different manner, and coaching works perfectly with them.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Amazing. Amazing. Yes, we have this classic idea that the kids' brains are plastic and they absorb information, and now we know the real reason why this happens, that their brains are like sponges. We hear it all the time, everybody says that, so but now we know the reason, that there's no prefrontal cortex developed yet, and everything apparently goes straight to their subconscious. And
Absolutely.
yes, yeah, they're downloading those files that are going to help them survive in the future. So that's why we need to be extra careful about the type of
Extra
messages.
careful.
Yeah,
Yes. And
yeah,
extra careful with words and emotions.
exactly, exactly. Speaking of emotions, now you mentioned that word. I know that you are an avid participant in the Neurolanguage Coaching conferences. How many conferences have you been in?
Uh, well, I traveled to Spain 2 times, but
Okay.
I also was online before.
Mhm.
Yeah. So the last 2 times I were there.
Yes. Thank you for that. One of the things that I'm personally interested in is in the performance aspect of the language. I try to help my learners develop an access to the right mindset and the right state of mind in order to perform their best. In other words, that self-talk that we usually have prior to a presentation or some kind of
Mm-hmm.
event. And I remember I see one of your posts on Instagram about you breaking a wooden board, yes, in front of all of the other participants. So I was wondering what was going through, your mind. What was the self-talk or the emotions that you um, were feeling before that moment? Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Oh yeah, that was it was a great conference, great event of like-minded people with absolutely fantastic neurolanguage environment, and all of the talks, all of the trainings, they were enforcing us. It's true. And I don't remember. It was the first day. I guess the first
Mm,
day, the end of the first day, we had an experiment breaking our blocks and our triggers that we have inside of us. So the message to ourselves, what we are afraid of or what we are scared of, what we are tired of. So the inner message to ourselves, something that we have to, something that we want to stop doing or break or give up.
mhm,
So we had a wooden break. We put the message on one of the sides, and afterwards we had to break it with the help of our hand and like press it, push it, well, and send in this message that I want to break it, I want to stop doing something, right? So there was an energy in this hit. um, I would say that was something challenging for me, but I'm because I'm the person who's not doing that. Like I would try to observe what's going on, and after that I would try it myself. So that was a moment for me when I tried to say to myself, Nina, you can do it. You also
mhm.
have some triggers. Your clients have triggers. Your clients have stereotypes. You do have them as well. So go for it, break them, change yourself. It sounds kind of pathetic, but it really worked.
Yeah,
At that moment, I really felt relieved. This great relief that I am responsible for my changes as an educator, as a professional, and that was a message they can transmit to my clients.
yeah,
So they are responsible for their change. They are responsible for their triggers. Here I am to help you to change your triggers, to change your pain. If you have something about education, if you have something about learning process, here I am to help you, but this is your responsibility to do it. If you do not do it, nobody can help you.
yeah.
That was my insight after that.
Yeah, yes, yes, definitely. No one's coming to the rescue, right? Is you there?
Absolutely. You're the only one. Yes.
Mhm,
Because usually our students are, they have kind of stereotypical model. Okay, here is a teacher, he will help me. It's a good teacher, and if I take 100 hours with him or her, I'll study English perfectly. But we already know that this doesn't work. If the student doesn't do anything or is lazy or doesn't put enough effort or is not committed, we are waiting for some miracle. We are responsible for this miracle. We
exactly.
as the learners. So that was a message I was trying to transmit.
Wow. Beautiful. Yes, definitely. Sometimes we have to remember that we have to do what we preach. You know, as educators, if we tell them, if we share
Yeah,
information first, at least I try to make sure that I don't share things that I don't do myself. You know, because it will feel like I'm lying to them, I'm cheating. So yeah, definitely I try to stick to sharing what I know that works that I've tried. And
absolutely.
yes, exactly, for sure. Yes. Speaking of triggers, if I may share with you one of the things that I personally do with my participants in the Neurolanguage Coaching course,
Yes, please.
yes, is when we're talking about the limbic brain, I, with their permission, I tell them, yeah, but one of you will give me a specific summary of everything that we have covered so far, and that person is going to be chosen randomly. So, are you ready? So, and they go like a little bit limbic because we're
Yeah.
talking about that perhaps they're not familiar with, and I want you to tell me how they respond to their message. No, and they tell me,
Okay.
yes, I felt like I was going limbic. I didn't know how to. I don't know how to start, and so yeah, I felt that direct message to my emotional brain. But then I tell them, one of you will be in charge of explaining to me the use of the verb to be in English or in
Yeah.
our target language. And one of you will be chosen randomly, and you'll have 10 minutes to do this. Something that is super easy for, well, any sort of educator, language educator. And then they say that, okay, let's get to it. No, let's see how I can do this, and they start immediately to think about strategies. So that's another way to demonstrate how, depending on the stimulus, of course, either the emotional brain can respond or the rational brain can do that. No?
Yeah, and
So
transmitting this energy from limbic to rational one.
yeah, exactly, exactly. Speaking of neuroscience, Nina, I remember you having posted on your Instagram account as well a message that says, I know a lot, and this is what your coaches normally say. No, I know a lot, but I can't say anything. And in that picture that you posted, it was a picture of a puzzle, right? And you were writing about helping our learners how to solve the puzzle of their own learning. Yeah, you remember it. Yeah,
Yes, I guess it was about Lego bricks,
yeah, exactly.
right?
A break.
Small Lego
Yeah, not
bricks.
not a puzzle, but yeah, some breaks.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
We can compare it with a puzzle, whatever, that consists of many different small pieces.
Yeah.
And yes, well, there are 2 points that I'd like to
Hmm.
highlight. The first one, I know a lot, but I cannot talk or I cannot say anything. That's about this, I would say, huge distance that they have already passed by, well, learning, taking lots of courses, that the courses that didn't help them because they were not using what they learned, right? So this, um, I would say, absence of real life situations where they could use the knowledge they already have. So when they come to our classes, to our sessions, we're trying to break all they need into little pieces, into little blocks,
Hmm.
or we call them chunks,
Yeah.
to build up to build up the sessions and all the planning, the whole planning procedure, to show them that they can progress and they can see their progress after short periods of time, not in a half a year or 2 year time, but just in 10 lessons or in 8 lessons. We're doing some revision, for example. Yeah, we're testing you, or in the way you want to do that, in the way the client wants, we assess him or her. So putting these bricks together, these chunks together, then the client has got the whole picture, big picture. Well, that's actually how it works.
Yeah.
By putting these bricks together, having this big picture, they already illustrated everything, then the client can relate what he or she learned with the situations where he wants to use this knowledge.
Interesting.
So it shouldn't be apart, it should go together. Why I'm learning and what I'm learning, what my reasons are, and which topics I'm covering together with my neurolanguage coach. They have to cooperate, these two parts.
Yeah, absolutely. So you scaffold their way to success by chunking down the learning
Yeah,
process into bits.
because usually we have some topics that our clients do not need.
Hmm.
They
Oh yeah.
are right. So why should we spend this time, waste their time, their energy, time, money on the things that they are not going to use?
That absolutely resonates with me. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Um, During that interview, live, it was a live talk on Instagram with Rachel. You asked her
Mm.
about her thoughts on AI, and you seemed a little visibly worried about AI back about a year ago. Has that changed over time? Yeah.
I'm not sure if I was worried. I should rewatch it.
No, no,
but
yeah. You
but
had some words of concern. That's yeah, what I meant.
okay.
Mhm.
Maybe because I didn't use it at all.
Okay.
For me, it was something very abstract.
Mhm.
But now I can see some advantages of, for
Okay.
example, ChatGPT, right? So this is very great source that can complement our routine of preparation. Let's say preparation for sessions, looking for some exercises. Usually, we can find an exercise that consists of six sentences, and only three of them match our needs. So we have to remake the other three ones. But when we use a ChatGPT, it matches all our expectations, our needs, and wishes. So why not? Why not? As for me, it's facilitating. It facilitates the process a lot. It can help save our time. Um, but there are some disadvantages. I've got a client who is always ready with his homework, and his homework is always perfect. So yeah, and I started digging deeper, like what's happening. There is a yeah, there should be something behind that. So I just checked his homework by using ChatGPT, and it gave me 99% the same answer. So
Mm-hmm.
after that, I came back to my client and said, like, it doesn't work.
Okay.
It shouldn't be working like that. So it's a double-edged question, issue, instrument, tool, approach, and
Mm-hmm.
we have to be very careful about that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes, definitely, definitely. It depends on how we use that tool. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Nina, we're nearly there. But before we get into my final question, I remember we recently talked about AI before in preparation for this session, and inspired by your answer, I created with artificial intelligence
Yeah.
some affirmations regarding the use of AI, affirmations about AI, because I always
Oh,
play with affirmations to help my brain embrace AI more and more. Yeah, I'll share that with the participants and everybody, and with you as well. But I think I
please.
use it when I go to bed, just for me to allow to accept the rapid incursion in AI into my life. So, but it was right after we had that conversation about AI.
Well, I'm curious.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Nina, final question for you, and maybe you can share a few words to some of the teachers and language educators from Ukraine as well, if you want to, in Ukraine, and if it's okay with you. But my final
Mm.
question for you, Nina, if you had a billboard, for you to write a message on, what message would you share with language educators out there?
Mhm. Um, okay, so the first thing that brings to mind is about changes. We started with changes, changing the
Mm,
brain. And what I would say is never stop learning. Even though
mm.
you're a teacher, a coach, a mentor, never stop learning. Because if we educators stop learning, we stop changing our brains. Therefore, we cannot improve education. We cannot change the brains of our clients, of learners, children, students. So, change.
Okay, wow, powerful, so powerful. Yes, Nina. Any few words in Ukrainian to your fellow Ukrainian citizens?
In Ukrainian, well, so if it's about learning, the first one is already учитися, брати мої.
Okay.
Думайте, читайте. And in English is learn, my brothers, think, and read.
Ooh, powerful. Thank you so
Right.
much. Wow, thank you so much. Nina, we could stay for perhaps another hour yeah,
Yes,
talking
yes,
about,
yes.
yes, your experiences and mine. But, time is limited, time is short. So, Nina,
Absolutely.
thank you so much for being with us once again. And I hope that everybody got some value out of this conversation. And who knows, maybe in the future, if Nina is willing, we can invite her once again just to see what new insights she wants to share with
I'd
us.
be honored. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Nina. What's next for you? What are your next steps?
You mean in conference? Oh, in courses?
In courses, yes, exactly.
Yeah, the very next step is the course in Kiev. I'm going to deliver the course in the beginning of November. So we start in the end of October online, and I'll be traveling to Kiev. I'm glad to see all the teachers who want to become neurolanguage coaches in Kiev. So in case of you're interested, please text me. I'll be glad to share all the information that you need.
Or- yes. Who is the ideal client or participant for the Neuro Language Coaching certification course, in your opinion? Yeah.
Well, that's a very motivated teacher who's
Hmm.
already tried different methods, approaches, and still is seeking for the improvement
Hmm.
and wants to find this calmness, right? Because we know that neurolanguage coaching for us, as for the educators, is the very safe ground.
Hmm.
It's a very calm ground
Hmm.
where we can feel comfortable with the client in all the cases because you know how to manage it.
Yes. All right. Fantastic. Thank you, Nina, once again, and hope to see you soon, and hope that we meet in person anytime soon as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
all right.
Thank you so much. See you very, very soon. Have a nice
Yeah,
day.
you too.